Happy Monday, everyone. It is Monday, October 4th, 2021. I am Sally Blue Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. I hope everyone's having a wonderful afternoon or a wonderful day so far. Okay, let us get started. Let's get started. So, today we're going to talk about platonic relationships. Are they beneficial? And I mean platonic relationships between a man and a woman, a boy and a girl. So, are you just friends with the opposite sex? Should married couples have platonic friendships? How many people have maintained lifelong friendships with the opposite sex? Are they beneficial? What do you think? Well, there's a lot to be said about having a platonic relationship. People have different views on it. Some people, especially if you're married, some people feel that you should let go of the your friends of the opposite sex when you get married. Some people think it's not, such a big deal. I, for one, don't think it's a big deal. My husband has a friend of the opposite sex, and it's a platonic relationship. I don't have a problem with it. I have maintained friendships with the opposite sex. Um, just because you're friends with someone of the opposite sex doesn't mean that you're going to have sex with that person. So those are things that I would like to talk about. You know, you know, is having a friend um, of the opposite sex, is it taboo? Um, going back to an article I read, with Harry met Sally, back in 1989 when Harry said that you know there's no way a man and woman can have a platonic friendship because the sex part always gets in the way. And, do you think that's true? I personally don't think that it is. Um, you know, we have had people who have had lifelong friendships with someone of the opposite sex. And, the sex thing doesn't always get in the way. I think personally that is beneficial for two people to, maintain that platonic relationship, even if, you are married. And I feel that um, married couples who, have a problem with their spouses, or even if you're dating or whatever and you have a problem with your partner having a friend of the opposite sex, I think that's more of a uh how much that person is not secure. You're not secure not only in your relationship, but you're not secure in just who you are as a person, you know so anyway, so that is what I think. So, Crucible Man, you are here, and I'm not going to repeat everything that I just said, but I would like to know: do you believe what Harry said and Harry Met Sally back in 1989, that there's no way a man and a woman can have a platonic relationship because the sex part always gets in the way? Do you want to answer that question? If not, I will keep going. And I'll give Crucible Man a moment here to come on, and he does want to answer the question. All right, I will send you out an invite. All right, Crucible Man, you have the mic.
Hello.
Hello.
You know, I go back and forth on that concept. Completely forgotten about that movie, but I did see it, and it was a very good movie. And at the time, I pretty much wholeheartedly agreed with what Billy Crystal said. I just think, and it depends on the relationship. Obviously, it depends on maybe on some level the physical attractiveness of the two people involved, how long they've known each other, just what the nature of their relationship is, and what specifically they spend time together doing. I don't know so much that relationships with the opposite sex are a problem for people in relationships. I don't really have a personal experience with it, but I've never, in all my dating years, I've never really had a platonic friend. It wasn't because I specifically avoided it or anything. It never developed. Um, but I think, the tension is always just below the surface. If people are both attractive and they both have good personalities, but I do think it comes down to, what are you spending time doing? Is it things your partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse doesn't like doing? Like antiquing, or watching a specific sport that you don't like, and you're just like, whatever, as long as they're occupied and they're enjoying their time. I don't care that's what they're doing. But if you're doing other things that could be construed more of a romantic nature, then I think it's when the pot starts to get stirred a little bit. But I do agree with you. It does boil down ultimately to the security or insecurity of the people involved.
All right. I have a response to that, but first I would like to say hello and welcome to OJ28 and 100 Yard Old Chemist. So thanks for joining the show. Okay, so again, when Harry Met Sally, it was a very good movie. They brought up a lot of points about why you should possibly not have a platonic relationship, or why it's not possible. But I mean, I for one have had and have platonic relationships with male friends. I've gone to movies with male friends, and I'm married, and my husband was like, he didn't have an issue with it. I know that my husband, has female friends, whatever. I mean, it's like, we know who we both are, whatever. And no, when I went to the movies, we weren't sitting right next to each other. There was a seat, between us. We didn't see a romantic movie or anything. It was a comedy that I knew that my husband did not want to see. We're the complete opposite when it comes to watching movies or TV shows. He has his TV, I have my TV. So so I didn't think it's a big deal. Some people may take issue with that. You're going to a movie. Something can happen. That's true, but something can also happen. If you go out to lunch with someone. If you're sitting watching a football game. What can happen. After the game. I think that you do need platonic relationships because it also, gives you an insight, into the other sex. Like you can bounce things off of that person. That you may not, want to, talk to your male friends or your female friends about. So that's just my opinion. Does anyone else have anything they want to say? Or Crucible Man, do you want to respond to what I just said? Or Chemist, do you want to jump in? Or OJ, do you want to jump in? Do you think I'm like totally out the box? But you do have people out there who, hello, Juju, welcome back, my friend. So do you think that there's this mistrust? Because I do believe also that women mistrust uh, I think women mistrust their male partners more so than the other way around, but that's just my opinion. And Kim says, and Crystal Man, I'm going to mute you. So you see platonic relationships as a necessity. I don't necessarily see them as a necessity. I just see them as, that they can, in terms of you personally, I think that it can add a positive dimension to your life or your other relationships. I had a really, really good friend that I had a platonic relationship with since high school. And I met him when I was a sophomore. He was a freshman. And, we were really good friends up until 1998 when unfortunately he was killed. And, he he's no longer with us, whatever, but he was a really, really good friend and, wasn't sex or anything like that. He was just one of my really good male friends. And had he lived, I know that, years later, we would still be friends. So, anyone want to comment or no problem, Choo Choo. I know you're always at the pool. No, no problem. Okay, so OJ wants to jump in.
Hi all.
Hello. Hello. How are you?
I'm doing good. How was the weekend?
Very good. Very good. So, what
Great.
did you want to say?
Yeah, it's I think there's no harm in having platonic friendship or the same from the opposite sex. It's just healthy. I find it I think it's healthy, and moreover, like these days, when one has to spend long hours at work, it this kind of things is bound to happen. But
Hmm.
then again, it doesn't necessarily mean that like A has to like B, or B likes has to like A, nothing of that sort. But then amongst the crowd, there are scattered, should I say, couples around amongst the colleagues, and and then we take it forward from there. I mean, because the number of hours at work, this kind of things are bound to happen, and
You
there's
know,
nothing wrong in it, and I don't see anything wrong in it.
and you bring up a good point. The fact that when you do spend long hours at work, you will tend to become friends with the opposite sex, and you guys may end up clicking in a way where you guys have something in common. The Is not anything romantic, and you may end up saying you want to grab lunch, you want to do this, do that. That would be outside of work. And if you go home and tell your wife or your husband, hey, I'm doing this with so and so or whatever, again, I don't see an issue with it. But then again, it also depends upon your relationship with your significant other. Um, so my next question is this: if you get married, or if you find yourself getting into a relationship where you're dating someone and it gets serious, should you just dump that person? Should you just stop seeing that person? Because you're getting married or you're getting into a serious relationship. I mean, you guys have been friends longer than the person that you're about to marry or the person that you're dating. So should you just, put that friendship to the side? Because you're getting into another relationship. So, okay, OJ says no, no way. Um, I mean, what does anybody? I mean, what do you want to say? Let's see. Kimmy says, I saw good and well, but I'm a man, and most men can damn near tell you exactly what's going on in another man's head. Some guys play the long shoulder game, and I'm not going for that. Okay, all right, okay, all right. You make a good point, but I'd also like to know, is that would you not want your wife to have a platonic relationship because you're jealous, or you don't trust the other person? And again, I say, what if this person has been in your wife's life longer than you? They've never dated. They've never. I mean, he can even have his own girlfriend or wife, whatever. Would you have an issue with that? And Crucible Man, did you have something that you wanted to say? Okay, you have the mic.
Yeah, I had a situation exactly like that when I started dating a woman back in the late 90s, and she lived in another city, which kind of exacerbated my insecurity, and it was my insecurity. She had a friend that she had known forever, and they'd be partying, and he would sometimes crash on the couch at her house. And this was in the very beginning of our relationship, and I didn't know the guy, hadn't met him yet, and I had a lot of uncertainty in my head as far as I had to take her word for the platonic nature that she was explaining to me. I didn't have any choice. I certainly would have never crossed my mind to ask her to end the friendship. And as it turns out, I ended up meeting this guy, and he was one of we're friends on Facebook, but we're not close friends anymore because I haven't seen that woman in over 20 years or so. But excuse me. But he turned out to be a terrific guy. I hung out with him all the time. I dated this woman for probably 4 or 5 years, so I spent a lot of time with him. And one of the funniest, one of the most genuine people I've ever met. But in the beginning, I had serious reservations only because I didn't know him, or I didn't know my current girlfriend all that well at the time. But to, I guess, OJ's point about you spend a lot of time at work, and there's all kinds of distractions and diversions out in the world today with the internet and whatnot. But let's be honest, everybody knows you can start a relationship or a situation with somebody that you meet on the subway, that you're on your way into work in the morning. It doesn't have to be a movie, a lunch, or something, some other kind of a different kind of outing. You can meet somebody anywhere if that's what you're so inclined to be looking for. So I think you've got to just trust the person that you're with. If something jumps the rails, it jumps the rails. And that's just life sometimes.
Okay, and you make a very good point. So, Chemist, I'm going to ask you, just going off of what Crucible Man just said, what if your wife did, meet someone, on the train going to work, on the bus, and they see each other, every single day, and they start um, talking to each other, and they start sitting next to each other, on the bus or on the train, wherever, or they're walking down the street together. But then when they get to their stop, they part ways. But over time, they become friends. But this friendship doesn't go past this whole, the whole transportation thing. Um, would you have a problem with that? That you do meet people as you're just going about your everyday life. Yes, ma'am, that's a form of attraction. I disagree with you. I disagree with you. I just see it as two people. Okay, let me put it like this. Every morning I walk my dogs. Okay. I take different routes, whatever, but one route is basically the same until I decide if I'm going to turn left or turn right for this particular morning. But as I'm walking, you tend to see the same people out. You see the same people running at the same time. Somebody may be on their bike, someone else may be on somebody else may be out walking their dog or just taking a walk. you tend to see the same people. Now, over time, I've been walking my dogs for years. There are some people, male and female, that I've started talking to. I have stopped and I've sat down and I talk to these people. I know their names now, whatever. You know, but after that whole conversation or whatever, we go about continuing our walk or whatever, and that's it. Do you think that's still a form of attraction? I mean, and if not, what's the difference between doing that and being on a train or whatever every day? Am I making sense? I'm hoping that I am. So I don't know. And again, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I mean, so Kim is, and then I have to ask you, um, are you the jealous type? If I can go that far, or maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just the fact that I'm not the jealous type. You okay? Yes, you are. Interesting. Um, hmm. Sometimes people are not honest with themselves. Okay, so is that meant for me, Crucible Man? Okay, and you're stingy. Okay, Kevin says he's also stingy. Okay, so Crucible Man, I have to give you the mic again because I want to know what you mean by being honest with themselves. And then OJ, I'll give you the mic after Crucible Man. He tells me what he means by some people are not honest with themselves. Crucible Man, you have the mic.
No, I'm not referring to you, obviously. I'm just saying people sometimes they've become bored in their relationship or their marriage. They've become uh, discontent with their partner on some level for some reason, and maybe it's been building up for a while, and they're not unhappy, but they're not as happy as they'd like to be. And they meet somebody, let's say they're walking their dog or on the bus or someplace or at work, and they just want someone to talk to because their husband can't talk to them or their wife doesn't want to talk to them about something. And you tell yourself, this is just a platonic relationship. I'm just friends with this person, when sometimes subconsciously or deep down, you know that you're unhappy and you know that you're reaching out because of that unhappiness, but because you don't want to admit to possibly having feelings of infidelity, you tell yourself a story. You tell yourself something that squares with what you would like to believe, and maybe at the time that's actually, those sentiments are true. You are looking just for someone to talk to or a friend, but a lot of times the motives are a little bit more ulterior than that, and we just don't want to admit it to ourselves because we don't like the way that reflects on us.
All right, I have a comment to that, but I'm gonna let OJ make his comment first. Okay, OJ, you have the mic. What did you want to say?
Okay, what I want to say is that here, to a certain extent, I would agree with both my previous people had mentioned, my friends. But see, what what happens is, I mean, there's something called self limitation and self confidence and self trust. Now I this because I am spending a number of hours at work with work, and my wife is spending another x number of hours at her place of work. So since it is since this has happened with me, so I know for a fact that platonic love does exist, but then I should know where to draw the line. I mean, and with my wife, she also knows where to draw her line, and I too know, and this is out of sheer self-respect, and as well as respecting each other. But the moment we I tend to disrespect her, or for that matter, I care two hoots about her, kind of a thing. There's a time this platonic love might change into something else.
Okay,
That's
and
a
you make a very good point. So okay, so OJ and Crucible Man just made two very good points, and Chemist, you also make a good point, but um, like Crucible Man said that maybe someone's not being honest with themselves. Maybe they just want someone to talk to that they can't feel that they can't talk to their husband or a wife. So Chemist, I'm going to throw this question out here. Um, if your wife feels, and this is just hypothetical, if your wife feels, or your partner, your husband, whatever, feels that they cannot talk to their spouse for whatever reason, or they cannot talk to their girlfriend or boyfriend for whatever reason, and again, you see people who are on the train every day when you're going to work, you guys become friends, you're sitting with each other, whatever, then should you possibly look into yourself and your own relationship to figure out why my significant other can't talk to me or doesn't want to talk to me, but at the same time, they could just be two people who just happen to be traveling the same way, meet at the same time, and they say hello to each other and they talk and then they go their separate ways. You should, but that's why I talk to my wife. If she has any issues, we address them head on. All right, okay, and I think that's good, but it seems like that you're limiting, how do I want to put this, that you're basically saying that your wife can't have any friends of the opposite sex besides you. So does that mean that when your wife goes to work and she has a male friend at work, is that a problem? Because people who work together, you do form friendly relationships. It doesn't have to mean that there's an attraction or anything. You just form friendly relationships. You have those people at work that you always go to lunch with. You want to go to lunch with this person as opposed to going to lunch with that person. You know, um, I mean, that's just life. And again, I'm going to ask, am I making sense? I don't know.
Hey, I just wanted to jump in.
Sure.
Yeah. What you're saying, this is quite natural. Like if you're taking if you're taking the one particular bus at a particular time, or the train, or if not, if walking up to a certain extent on down the street at a particular time, and that's how we see this the first time we go is an unknown face, second time it's the same face, third time a smile and a hello, and this is quite natural, quite natural with us as human beings, until unless we are extreme like psychopath kind of a guy, of a person. Otherwise, if we are normal human beings, I think like over time, seeing the same this person, this kind of this kind of stuff, it does happen. Like one week, say one week, we both of us are travel on the same bus or the train, or walking the same street at the same time, and then probably the following week, or maybe a month later, we can say, we can say like how about a sandwich or a coffee. and that is how things happen. But then the platonic love, it happens then. But then again, if I if I do not have the self control, self control, or that self respect, or if I do not know when and where and how to draw the line, then things will go bad.
Okay.
Otherwise, until then, things are good. Things are good, and I don't see anything wrong in it.
Okay. All right. Now, OJ has made a good point, and Crucible Man says men will almost always want more at some point if a woman is attractive. All right. So that brings me to my question of the friend zone. So since Crucible Man made that comment, the being friend zone, do you think, or put it like this, if a man wanted to, and this is before you all became friends or anything, if a man wanted to, approach a particular woman, um, looking for a relationship, even if he just wanted a one night stand, okay, and he was rejected, but there's always that possibility of being friend zone. And what I mean by friend zone is that instead of accepting you as a lover or in a romantic relationship, you know, let's just be friends. And there are some people who have been rejected on both sides. Either they've been rejected by a woman or they've been rejected by a man, and they uh, become really good friends. So, what do you guys think of that? And Kimma says, "Me and my wife, and she doesn't want me to have platonic friends. When I was out here, I could talk the panties off of mannequin. I'm not the only me in this world." Okay, Kimmas, I totally understand what you're saying, but I see you approaching it as the glass half empty as opposed to half full, that you're looking at it, you're coming at it in the negative sense, as opposed to, it is possible for this person just to be this person's friend. I mean I don't know. I respect your comments. I just disagree with you. uh does anybody want to disagree with me, agree with Chemist, or comment? That's cool. I'll die on this hill. All right. All right. Crucial Man, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I think go back to that movie, When Harry Met Sally, and I think at one point Meg Ryan asks Billy Crystal, um, can men and women be friends? And he doesn't even hesitate. He just blurts out, "No, we pretty much want to nail them all." And that's a quote. And I think whether it's biology, the male biology, I should say specifically, the hunter gatherer kind of mentality going back to the caveman times. I think men are fine with being friends, but I don't think, again, I'm generalizing and this is just my opinion. I think they're hardwired to always be seeking conquests of some type, and they'll go along with the friendship routine for as long as the woman insists on keeping it in the friendship zone. But if she gives any indication that she's willing to stray outside of it, even just for one night, you're going to see that man kick that door as wide open as he possibly can to strike while the iron's hot, I guess. So I think women are the gatekeepers to anything beyond a platonic relationship. That's just my opinion. I know there's been exceptions to that rule, but generally speaking, I think men will play the long game, kind of like what Chemist said. Will play the long game until they get a sign that no, this is absolutely not going to turn into something else, or there's a chance that it will. But I don't think it's ever 100% the man's idea to be in a platonic relationship. If they could change it even briefly, I think they would.
All right. So, all right. So, my question then comes into because I know that, how a person looks also plays into it. So, what if this, person of the opposite sex is not that attractive? Okay. What if they're not attractive at all? Does all of a sudden, is it okay for your wife or your husband or your partner, whatever, to have this platonic relationship with the opposite sex because this person is not attractive? But then again, you have people, I'm sorry, Kevin, you're making me laugh. Kevin says most pimps are ugly. All right. So you should have been on last Thursday's show in terms of what makes you laugh, and you are making me laugh today. All right. So okay. So you also have people who are unattractive, but they can have those, here comes that personality thing. They can have those great personalities that make them attractive. So are you saying that it's okay if your significant other, has a friend that is unattractive as opposed to attractive? I mean, unattractive people, they still get married, they still have relationships. It happens every single day. So, and Kimmons, I know you're probably at work, but if you could, jump on and take the mic, I'd appreciate it. But if not, I have no problem. So, does anyone want to comment on what I just said there, or even comment on what Kimmons just said, or what Crucible Man said?
Oh,
Crucible Man, did you have something you want to say? Nope. Keep your confident, funny. Okay. And I will do that. Crucible Man, did you have something that you wanted to say?
yeah, I think I think it's just human nature to be more secure with your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend having a quote unquote platonic relationship with the opposite sex if that person is not attractive. If they're both unattractive, then anything can happen because you're right. Unattractive people do get married, but generally they get married to other unattractive people. So,
See,
but
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
but if one is attractive and the other is attractive, or one is, I should say, one is attractive and the other is unattractive, I think that removes everybody's temptation and it removes the insecurity from the spouse or the boyfriend because they kind of figure, okay, well, I know I know my boyfriend's taste, my wife's taste, and he or she would never go for that type of a person. So I'm okay with it. I think physical attraction always is a wild card in any kind of a relationship, whether it's professional relationship, platonic relationship, romantic relationships. We can't help being viscerally attracted to another person, man or woman. And so I think if you have a spouse or a boyfriend or girlfriend with a platonic relationship with an unattractive person, I think that generally probably calms them down from thinking anything untoward might happen.
All right. So I'm going to throw in this question. All right. So with my confident ass, I'm going to throw this question in. I know Juju, he is, isn't he? All right. So my question is this: what if your significant other has a friend of the same sex that is attracted to your significant other, and you're not aware of this, but your significant other is, but they're still friends with this person. They're not going, that route, but they are aware that this person, their friend of the same sex, is attracted to them, and you find out about it. Would you? I mean, what do you think about that? Anybody? Crucible Man, I know you have something to say.
Can you repeat the question?
what if your significant other had a friend of the same sex who was attracted to them? You did not know it, but your significant other knew it, but they just kept the friendship as friends. They didn't, they didn't react to that person. And you found out that that your significant other's, girlfriend or male friend or whatever was attracted to them. I mean,
Yeah, I guess I would I be offended or would I be upset if I found out that she was attracted or she knew somebody was attracted to her but didn't do anything about it and didn't say anything to me about it? Is that what you're proposing?
no, I mean, I'm saying, would it be an issue for would it matter to you if your wife or your girlfriends had a female friend who was attracted to them? Would you feel the same way about a same sex thing as opposed to the opposite sex?
No, not at all. I would tend to discount the same sex thing, probably maybe prematurely because people do change their sexual preferences throughout the course of their life. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. But no, I would feel much less threatened and feel much less any kind of insecurity about a situation that were sex same sex versus the opposite sex. I just don't think.
That's
And I
very
think, yeah, and that may be a foolish, you know, thing to assume because, like I said, people do change teams, frequently throughout the course of their life. I've known several women who I would have sworn were dyed in the wool for life heterosexuals, and I see on Facebook that they're very much not heterosexuals anymore. And I'm sure there was a point at which one of their husbands or wives or husbands or boyfriend saw this type of a relationship coming and wrote it off as there's no way she would ever leave me for another woman. And 6 months later, he's on the outside looking in. But no, to answer the question, I would feel much less threatened about a same-sex attraction than the other way around.
all right. And I have a comment on that, but Chemist has he has come in. So, what would you like to say, friend?
Well, absolutely, I absolutely disagree with that because I've been in that situation where my wife had a friend that was a female. Excuse me, but she she did little things to test me in
The
front of my wife.
the friend did.
Yeah, she did little
Okay.
things to test me in front of my wife, and she did little like she insinuated certain things to my wife. My wife blew her off. Like me, what I do is I face her head on. I'm like, okay, so what you trying to say? What you want to do?
So,
I, so
are you
she
more
can,
threatened?
it's not a threat. I mean, you know what? It is more of a threat for a female because a female knows a female better than a man does. So it's a bigger threat for a female to want your wife or your significant other than it is for a male.
So, were you jealous?
I wasn't jealous. I was. It upset me that she tried me.
Okay. So, did you tell your wife that you didn't want her to hang out with this person
Oh
anymore?
yeah, I kicked her out in front of my wife.
So, okay. So, you kicked her out of your house, but did your wife still maintain a friendship with her?
No.
And what if your wife wanted to maintain a friendship with her?
So my wife is like me. Like I said, if you disrespect our relationship, if I have a friend and my friend disrespects our relationship, he
Hmm.
gotta go or she gotta go. And she's the same way.
Okay. All right. All right. So if your wife had a lifelong friend and and again, these are platonic friends. I mean, he could even have her friend could be married. Okay. I'm gonna throw that at you.
Mm-hmm.
The friend is married
Mm-hmm.
and they've been lifelong friends, whatever. And then she meets you. And
Mm-hmm.
you see that when the two of them together, they're laughing, they're joking, they're just having a good time as friends. Would you be threatened by that, jealous, or want your wife to end that relationship? And again, I said that he was married. This person's married.
I don't care about that. He can be married all he want. He's still a man.
Okay, but he's also someone that's been in your wife's life, before, I mean, like 30 years or 20 years before you even popped up. So, you know, I mean, and that nothing has happened. So you would want your wife to forego a good friendship
And
just
women,
because
women,
you have an issue?
women will die with a lie.
You gave me a topic for another show.
So I'm not.
Hmm.
No, he can't be around me. I'm not
Okay,
gonna.
he can't be around you, but can
He
he
can't be
be?
around her either.
Wow.
Because I've been that guy.
But everyone's not like that. I mean, everyone.
Men are all the same. We could put on. I promise you, we could put on all these fronts and say all this sweet stuff in front of women, but all men are the same. All men will wait, play the long shoulder game, cry on my shoulder, baby, woo this, woo that. And then
All
soon
right.
soon as you say, I think I want to leave. Oh, really? Come on over here. Just like Crucible Man said, they're gonna kick the door wide open. Come on, baby, come on in.
Okay, but you're assuming that she's going to want to come over to you. If she wants to leave, she may not want to come. She may not want to come to you. She may want to go to somebody else.
If he know how to play the
Or she
long shoulder
want to, or
game
she.
right, if he know how to play the long shoulder game right, she coming his way.
Well, I don't think you're giving women enough credit, because you can play the long shoulder game, but at the same time, I think women also look at personality. I think they look at, if someone, are you going to be able to get along with this person? It isn't just sex. There's a lot that goes into it, and
Well,
women are not stupid.
you clearly know he has good personality because he's been your friend for a while, and you clearly know you get along with him because he's been your friend for a while, and you confide in him.
True, but okay, but I can also say this: I have some male friends, and
I don't trust him.
two of them who I have known since I was, let's just say, I grew up, they grew up on my block. I am still I'm friends with them. And one of them, I always say, I don't see how any girl wants to be with you, because you are a straight up dog, because he is. There's no way that I would ever want to get with him, because he's a dog. So I mean, give us a little bit of credit.
Okay.
Oh, Kivas, you have given me so many ideas for other shows. Does anybody want to jump into what Kivas just said? I'm sure OJ and Crucible Man, I know you all are like dying to say something. So who wants to jump in? And Kivas, thank you. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Crucible Man, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes.
Go ahead. This is my laughing show today. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I alluded to it earlier when I made comments about the biology and the hardwiring of all of us as people, but men specifically. Women have been conditioned since they were probably in grade school. Maybe that's a little bit exaggeration, but let's say high school. They're used to getting hit on by men, so they've adopted a mentality that they just, I'm not going to say they assume it, but they're almost always on guard for a man coming on to them, even though it may appear at first as if he just wants to be friends. I think by the time a woman is in her 20s or 30s, if she's halfway attractive, she has had so many experiences where She has made it clear that she's not interested in a romantic relationship or a sexual relationship, and men continue to think they're going to be the one to turn her around, and they just don't. They don't like to take no for an answer, but women have become so adept at deflecting and warding off men who are hardwired to, want to get busy as opposed to get friendly. I think men just figure it's a matter of time. They're going to have to work a little bit harder because they're used to the rejection and they're used to women putting up this difficult front. But I think men think, like Chemist said, the long shoulder game. If they play their cards right and they continue to promote the friendship angle, eventually the woman will find him impossible to resist, and he'll get what he wants, in the end.
Well, you're assuming that, that women will be, I mean, come on. Again, I say, give us some credit. Give us a little bit of credit. I mean, come on. Okay. OJ, did you have something you wanted to say?
Uh, yeah, it's it's kind of different, but then yeah, my wife, she had a friend of the same sex, and later on I found out that she was a lesbian. So I warned my wife that okay, this friend of yours is nice, all everything is good, but then this is the hang up. This is the not hang up. This is the issue with her. and and lo and behold, my wife's, she kept on, she still continued her being friends with her, but then I realized that they keep this friend of hers was trying to use my wife as a launching pad to get me. So I said, boss, this is not done. Just you part ways,
Okay.
and that was it. That's
All
a
right.
different angle to
Yeah.
it altogether. But this is a real life experience. So I know.
And I'm not saying that things like that don't happen. Of course they happen. They happen with men, they happen with women. You see it, excuse me, you see it, in high school kids. I mean, yes, I'm not saying that that doesn't happen, but I am also saying that it is possible. And only because I've been there, I am there now. It is possible to have platonic relationships with people, and if people know, that we are just friends, then you all are just going to stay friends. I'm not going to, stay up all night, worrying, or when my husband goes to work, oh my God, is he talking to so and so, or that girl who I met in his office, or that woman excuse me, who I met in his office, you know um what are they doing at lunchtime, and my husband comes home late, oh my God. I'm not going to be that person. I'm not going to be that person. But then again, for me personally, I'm not a jealous person. I never have been. I've never been a jealous person. For me, I'm not wired like that. Um, you know, um, you know, that's, again, that's just me. So, I don't know. Let's see, you broke that dude's heart. I want to be like you when I grow up. Okay. Even though I know you don't. But all right, Kevin. I mean, I don't know. You know, relationships. Okay, let me ask this question. Do you think that relationships, okay, and Juju says that she's not jealous either. Do you think that relationships are confining? And what I mean by that is when you get into a relationship with someone, you lose your freedoms. And a lot of that freedoms has to do with or I'll say this, a lot of those freedoms are dictated. Are those freedoms dictated by what your significant other wants? You know, if he doesn't want you to do this, or if she doesn't want you to do this, then you know you can't do those things anymore. You know, she doesn't want you to wear this, or he doesn't want you to wear this. Well, I was wearing this and I was doing this when you met me. Now all of a sudden, you know, we're in this serious relationship, or we are, you know, married, whatever, and now you're trying to dictate what I can and cannot do. So do you guys think that um relationships are restrictive? Anybody want to take that one? Chemist, you like to answer that one? Yes, no? All right. Crucible Man, would you want to take that one?
Yeah, I think by definition they're restrictive, but I don't mean that in a negative way. We have to make choices and we have to make commitments in just about every area of our lives. Whether it's, you know, if we are talking to 3 or 4 employers about taking a new job and we choose one of them, well, we have to stop talking to the other 3 and show up to work at the place we chose. You know, we're looking to go out on a Saturday night and there's 3 or 4 different options. At some point, you've got to pick a lane and stay in it. You can't go to all 4 places at once typically. So you make a choice and there's a trade-off. You're going to have fun at this one place, but you're going to miss out on things at another place. You chose a place of work for specific reasons, but that means you're not going to be able to go to work at these other places that had other things that were attractive to you. So I think it's a trade-off. I think we get reduced freedoms in exchange for a higher level of security, a higher feeling of belonging or of value, and that's the trade-off we make for making a commitment.
Okay, so my question is, so with these trade-offs, because the other person wants you to make that trade-off, because the other person wants you to give up that relationship, or that other person, doesn't want you to wear this particular thing or that particular thing, whatever. What if your significant other is unhappy? What do you do? Anybody?
What are they unhappy about?
I mean, that they're unhappy that I'm about to marry this person, or I'm married to this person, or I'm dating this person, whatever, and they don't like the fact, or they don't want me to keep a relationship that I've had for years, just because he's a man, or just because she's a woman. They don't. I'm unhappy that I like wearing this particular dress or whatever, and it's not but he doesn't like it, or she doesn't like this or whatever, and that person over time they become unhappy. So they're unhappy with the restrictions that you want to place on them. What do you do?
That's a good question. I'm not sure I have a solid answer. I guess, it depends on how long the unhappiness has been going on. If it goes across, different subjects or different areas, or if it's just confined to one specific area. I mean, I would never, I think it's a very slippery slope for either party, the man or the woman, to begin restricting their behavior, whether it's the choice of clothing or where they go or how often they talk to somebody. If you're going to start placing demands on your spouse, I think you're going to end up with some resentment at some point. And at the end of the day, people are going to do what they're going to do. We don't control other people as much as sometimes we think we can. So I think you really run a very difficult risk by making demands on your spouse or your significant other that are in their minds, and probably in a lot of people's minds might just be unfair, based on petty jealousies.
All right, and I'm looking at the comments, and Kim says to move on, and Juju says don't waste your time. Life is short. Life is short, but And then Juju says that earlier, she says either work it out or move on, red flags. But if you're married to that person and they've been putting up with this for a certain amount of time, moving on could be I want a divorce. So how does that person who wants to put the restrictions on people, and I come up one day and I say, hey, I can't deal with this anymore. You're telling me that you don't want me to see this particular friend or this particular friend because because he's a man, whatever. I'm sorry. I've known this person, whatever. Or you don't want me to do this, or you don't want me to do this, or go here, or go there. Okay, and then Kim says bye. Okay, all right. So how do you work it out? Okay, Kim just says bye, and Juju, you said work it out or bye bye. So, in order to work it out, you have to come to some type of agreement. One person cannot have it their own way. One person cannot always want you to, always, listen to them, or they're always right, or they don't respect you on some level. How do you work it out? Are you able to work it out? Yes, OJ, you may jump in.
I'm speaking from the Indian perspective. Okay,
Okay.
uh, Indian perspective is the husband is supposed to be the god, I mean godly figure. So whatever he says, the wife would have to do. This is for you all, for you guys. This might be pretty strange, but this is a fact. I know some one girl who used to love pork, and she would prepare it, and she would love it, and but then this before she got married to this guy. This person says, well, I, for me, I do not eat pork, and if you eat pork or beef, I'm sorry. So this girl had to forego having pork, and they are married for I think 15 or 20 years now, and for 15-20 years this girl has never ever touched pork, and that's it. So it's, I mean, when you guys are talking about this stuff, to me I find it pretty strange. Like, okay, if you don't like it, move on, or red flags. Here the question of even raising a red flag does not arise, because the divorce rates in India amongst the middle class is pretty low. But again, amongst the high class, or absolutely the low class, the divorce rates are extremely high. And the reason is, for the middle class people are this concern about what will I mean, from the girl's parents side, or even for the girl, that what would the society say. So that's the stigma which is there in us, and for which the girls would have to bend backwards to just to maintain peace and harmony in the family and in their lives.
Oh, okay. OJ, I understand what you're saying. And again, you said coming from an India perspective. Hello, Lily. Um, but this is okay. She's given up eating a particular thing for 15 years because her husband doesn't eat it. Now, my thing would be, if you don't eat pork, okay, that's fine. When I prepare dishes for you, I won't prepare pork. But if I want to eat it, I will prepare it for myself. Why do I have to cut it out of my diet just because you don't want to eat it? Um, and again, I have to just go back to my own relationship. There are some things that my husband doesn't like that I make, and he doesn't eat it. Instead, he'll eat something else. Sometimes he'll make dinner, and he'll say, I'm going to make this tomorrow, whatever, and I'll say, well, I'm going to pass, because he knows that I don't like it or I don't care for it, and I just make something else. There has to be some type of compromise. You just can't tell someone that, because I don't like it, I'm going to just cut it out. Um, okay, Lily, for some reason is not letting you. Okay, she is out. All right. So I don't know. Again, there's a a compromise, and this doesn't have anything to do with relationships, but this is one thing that I've always said to people, and these are things that I've said to people who are my friends. um I think a certain way. There are certain things that I like to do, certain things that I don't like to do, but I have very little patience for people, who whine, and they're complaining, and I tell people up front, I don't like this, I don't like that. I'm sorry, Jill, Lily. I keep calling you Lily, but you are Jill. Um, I constantly, say to people, this is how I am. I don't like this. I don't like that. So when my friends start to do things, and even my husband, when we got married, I said, this is how I am. I don't like this. I don't like that. Whatever. He told me some things that he likes this and he doesn't like that. And I said, if you don't like it, I told you up front. Somewhere along the way, it always comes up where I have very little patience for something, and someone will say to me, well, you're being rude, you're being this. Well, yeah, I may be being rude, but I told you. So don't you think that you have to, if someone tells you that they don't like pork, but you like pork, what is wrong with me cooking pork for you? But I'm sorry, cooking pork for myself, but I cook you something different. Why do I have to give up something that I like just because you don't like it? And Kim, thank you very much for coming. So does anyone want to comment on that, Crucible Man?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you've been up front from the very beginning and both sides have kind of put their cards on the table, I do think it's unfair to come back later on and have disagreements about things that were discussed up front. So, yeah, I think once you make yourself clear, I like this, I don't like that, that's what communication is supposed to be all about in a relationship, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is, and I have communicated, things to people, and they have come back and they, have been upset with me, saying, that I was wrong, so that I was, wrong, I mean, I don't know, you know, I'm not a jealous person, but I have very little patience. I have very little patience for people, who, especially in relationships. I have very little patience for people who either don't want to compromise, or they want their own way. I have very little patience for it. So I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, we have gone over today. Does anyone want to make any last comments before I end the show? OJ, did you have anything you wanted to say before we ended the show?
Nope, nothing.
Okay. All right.
Change.
All right. Wait, I'm sorry. OJ, what was that last part?
Uh, for a change, I have nothing to say.
Oh, okay. All right. And I apologize for that background noise. I have a plane overhead here. So, all right, everyone. I thought this was a really good show. Thank you all for joining in. Juju, thank you for typing in. I know you love your pool time. But again, everyone, thank you so much, and I look forward to the show tomorrow, which is "Are You a Hypocrite?" So. That's it. I am Solid Blue Sister. This is my turn to talk. Always speak your truth, and I will see you next time. Bye. Yes, I have a lot to say about the hypocrisy. Thank you, Juju. Bye. You guys had me laughing today. This was my laugh for today. This was my good laugh. My heart is happy. Thank you for liking the show. And we always have the same people, so I feel like everyone's, getting to know who everybody is and what have you. So just think of what type of discussion we could have if we were all sitting face to face. That would be interesting. Good day to you too, OJ. And Crucible Man, thank you for your input. And OJ, even though I don't eat a lot of pork, but if I want to eat it, I'm going to cook it, okay? I'm going to eat it. Oh, Juju, are you calling me also? Same here. Well, Dufresne, thank you very much for joining in, but we're wrapping up the show. And this was a good one. All right, guys. Oh, I'm sorry, but come back tomorrow. We're talking about hypocrisy. 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I'll see you guys later. Bye.